You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Astonishing Legends Network.
Disclaimer. This episode includes the usual amount of adult language and graphic discussions you've come to expect around here. But in the event it becomes an unusual amount, expect another call from me.
Well, it's been a year. Could you believe it?
No, I can't. It's insane. A year of scared all the time.
I know. I think that deserves a little Prosecco, no?
What, no champagne?
We don't have champagne money, and we're Italian.
Fair and fair.
So we said when we started this thing that we'd give it a year. Like, how you feeling? Close up shop, or we done here? What's the deal? I mean, it is a lot of work, and I know how much we both hate that.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, but I think we're getting better at it every week, and we've got a lot of fans now. The community online is so active. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, MySpace, AIM, Google+, Zanga.com.
I don't know what half of that shit is, but if we're on there and people are happy, then I'm happy.
Yeah, good. Well, we are, and they are. It's a lot of work, but I think we nailed it. We left no stone unturned when it comes to keeping the fans happy. Who's that? Are we expecting anybody?
I don't think we're going to say anything too crazy. It shouldn't be Mr. Disclaimer. I don't know who that would be. I didn't invite anyone.
All right, let me go check the door. Hold on 1 second. Oh, shit, Ed. Look outside.
Well, why didn't you just look outside? Why'd you open the door?
I opened the door and looked outside. Do you know who's out there?
No.
It's everybody who's ever emailed us and never gotten a response back.
Fuck, that's going to be...
It's a lot of people. It's like 67 people.
People who drive by are going to think there's like a new shoe dropping in here.
No, there's no shoe dropping. The only thing that's dropping in here is...
uninvited guests.
Yeah.
Shit, well, if we're going to keep going, I guess we should probably like do something about this, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right, I'll take care of it.
You're going to let them in?
Oh, God, no. No, letting people in is... You'd have to be a licensed therapist that sponsors us before I'd let you in. Hey, listen! Okay, so we're signed in, and we're looking at them now. So just give us a second. Will you give us a second, please? Yes, a second that won't feel like a year this time. And don't fucking linger out here. Don't be weird.
We good?
Yeah, I mean, one of them had a gun, but he looked like someone who wouldn't use it, so we're good. All right, let's do this. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
What are we?
Scared.
When are we?
All the time.
Join us. Join us.
Join us.
Now it is time for
Scared all the time.
All right, guys, welcome to our anniversary email respond to spectacular.
This is what we do, hopefully not every year, but this year, this is where we ended up.
Yeah, well, so as you know, if you've emailed us, it's likely you never got a response. Although I will say, in our defense, as I was going through these emails to pluck out all the unresponded to ones, there's also a lot of emails we responded to.
No, yeah,
like way more than I thought.
Yeah, we respond more often than maybe we say.
It's just we do get a lot of emails, and a lot of them sometimes for various reasons we forget to respond or don't open them until a month later, or we're still busy making buttons and shirts and podcasts, and so we haven't gotten to a lot of these. But we thought it would be really fun for everybody who's been a fan of the show from day one to take some time on this anniversary and give you guys a bonus episode where we start from the very first unreplied to email and work all the way up to the most recent unreplied to email, at least as of September 29th, 2004.
Yeah.
We're recording this.
Now,
Or 2024, not 2004. So again, we're only going to do unreplied to emails, but we're making an exception. For nostalgia purposes, we're going to go back to the very first email that we ever received on this show.
Young Chris and Ed.
Young Chris and Ed, entitled A Sincere Plea to Stop.
Which is, if I remember correctly, a direct reference to us saying we have an email and you can use it for anything, including asking us to stop.
Yes. Now, this email is from Joel Blue, although it is signed Timothy Brown. So this is a real Reservoir Dogs style. We're using different colors to pretend we're someone else. It begins thusly. Dear Ed and Crisp, I just listened to your first podcast and I have some thoughts regarding its future. First, starting any new project is hard, let alone a podcast. I cannot encourage you enough to quit while you're ahead. Toward the end of the show, one of you, I'm not sure if it was Ed or Crisp, whichever one of you that sounds like he's eating macaroni and cheese more than a grown man should, starts cautioning his ideas may be stupid. Good with that instinct, but it has much, much broader application than just the time traveler theory.
Oh, that sounds like me.
Second, the show notes are blank, which seems accurate. That should be fixed by now. Third, during your Tears for Fears segment, which I think is his joke name for the Fear Tier, you miscategorized the Hat Man. While I agree that odds of encountering a hot shit and piss shower are probably as likely as an encounter with the Hat Man, and I concede your point that some people report physical encounters with the Hat Man, you miscalculated the likely outcomes. 100% of individuals who experience a homeless man throwing hot shit and piss have been covered in hot shit and piss. A lesser percent of individuals who encounter the Hat Man found him to be violent. By that metric, the Hat Man must be lower. Finally, Crisp is a stupid name and you should change it. Sincerely, Timothy Brown. So,
Tim, it was a great first email.
Great first email. Genuinely pretty funny.
We did respond to it.
Actually, I don't know if we did.
No, we definitely did.
There's no reply in this thread, but I feel like I remember replying to it. So I don't know. But I do want to, I have a bone to pick a little bit with this supposed fact that 100% of individuals who experience hot piss and shit thrown their way have been covered in hot shit and piss. I don't think that's necessarily true.
You're saying the semantics of it could have just been thrown and it missed?
Yeah.
But I see what they're saying and I agree with what they're saying.
I do understand the point.
Yeah.
So that's the first email we ever received.
Don't worry, we're not going to take you through every email. Moving forward, it'll just be unreplied to emails. We're just playing a little, basically this is our anniversary show is housekeeping the episode.
Kind of.
But if you normally skip housekeeping, I wouldn't recommend it this time because this episode's probably going to be fun. We're just going to be chit-chatting and bullshitting. It's going to be a lot more like our live shows or our Ask Me Anything. So stick around and listen.
So the first email that we didn't reply to is called My Hat Man Encounter from Joseph Ship.
Which we're actually not going to read you right now because guess what? This isn't the only anniversary show we got this month. That's right. Next up's all Hat Man all the time. So definitely be on the lookout for that and come back because we've got some great listener Hat Man stuff to share. Okay, so let's move on to the Sans Hat Man stuff, Chris.
So this email, this next one, old hag story and suggestions from Gabe Golden. Hello, guys. Most people online know me as Golden. It's not that deep. My last name is Golden, and it's easier for people to remember who I am than my first name, which is really common. I want to get the old hag story out of the way so I can get to you the suggestions of future episodes, possibly from my greatest hits of fears. So this was back in 2018. I was staying at a house subletting for a few months, and it was my second month there. At the time, I was struggling with my bills and was embarrassed that I didn't have the money for rent, so I slept in the back of my car waiting for my housemate to go to sleep so I could sneak in without contact with the housemate. I fell asleep in the back of the car for maybe an hour when I woke up unable to move. It felt like there was an invisible weight on my chest and I couldn't speak at all. My eyes were wide open trying to figure out what was going on, and that's when I saw her in my front passenger seat looking at me through a black veil over her pale face. She was just smiling at me, not saying or doing anything, just smiling. I could feel my heart pumping out of my chest, but I couldn't scream or anything. This terrifying staring contest lasted maybe a minute, but felt like forever. Then she just faded through the door and pixelated away like she had never been there. All the paralyzing symptoms went away, and I ran into my house and hid under my blankets until I fell back asleep. Thank you for listening. Love what you guys are doing. Golden. P.S. Here's a short list of fears I think are good to cover.
Okay, Golden, what do you got?
Number 1, deep ocean.
What the fuck? Oh, deep ocean.
Deep ocean.
And she said demotion. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'd rather just lose the job than be demoted. But
Number 1, deep ocean. We've sort of touched on it, but we haven't actually done deep ocean. Number 2, catacombs / dark spaces underground.
no, we did caves.
We did caves. We did buried alive.
Yeah.
Number 3, being alone but feeling like someone is there. It's kind of a
hard
tough one to
whole episode on.
Yeah.
But I think that'll come up a lot just in general.
Number 4, spiders. Did it?
Did it, dude? And yeah, by the way, Golden, we these were all your ideas. So thanks.
Number
we
5,
we listened and did it.
Number 5, possessed / having no control of your body. We haven't really, I guess, covered that, but possessions come up a bunch of times. So,
yeah.
Golden, thank you very much for your email.
They were not silver or bronze suggestions, so you've lived up to your name.
They were golden. This is from Josh, titled Dream I Had. Not sure if anyone has made a movie about this, but I had a crazy dream a few nights ago I think would make a good film. Starts out in early 80s, a bad storm is destroying a town, a bunch of kids, about 8 to 10 of them working in the grocery store, are rushed into an entranceway. The manager tells them only he knows of it because previous owner built a massive soundproof underground bomb shelter in secret in the 60s before he sold the store to the current owner manager.
So that's the entranceway, you think? They're being rushed to the entranceway to a bunker?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
He put the teens in there for safety and goes to look for anyone else. A tornado rips through. We did a Twisters episode.
Yeah.
So this would have been foreshadowing here because this was October 26, 2023. We got this email.
Oh, shit.
The manager puts the teens in the shelter for safety and goes to look for anyone else. A tornado rips through the store seconds later and kills everyone not in the shelter and damages the entrance controls. No one knows they're inside and they have no way to get out. Cut to 40 to 50 years later, a group of teens exploring a sewer find the entrance as the original site has been built over. One smart kid messes with the control box and gets it to open. They go inside and eventually find crazed cannibal. I think he means crazed cannibals, as the original teens went nuts in a Lord of the Flies kind of way. It was one crazy dream.
That is a crazy dream.
Yeah, it is a crazy dream. And we also did cannibals.
We did cannibals. I'm glad they hit on a lot of the stuff we touched on this season. I don't think we can make this movie because I don't know, unless the kids are fucking make new things to eat. I don't know how you go like 40, 50 years surviving down there.
Well, they're cannibals, so they probably ate each other a little bit.
Yeah, but that's still not going to buy you 50 years.
That's true. I mean, I feel like the real reason we can't make this movie is because it's Josh's idea.
Josh, go write it. I think my note would be you got to figure out a way to keep him alive for 50 years.
Yeah. My note would be put more episodes of Scared All the Time into this movie.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's like, hey, you got to get down in the shelter. And the kid's like, no, I got more of this episode to listen to.
No, I just mean like more topics from the show because he's got tornadoes, he's got cannibals.
Oh, well, I was trying to build our show. Sorry.
Let's put a homunculus in there.
Couple.
Maybe a couple, you know.
Probably 8 or 9 more homunculi would probably really make this work better for you.
Yeah. So
best of luck.
Great email, Josh. Thanks for sharing. Good dream. All right. Next email, episode suggestion from Seth. Hello, awesome team from the Scared All the Time podcast. First, I love the new
maybe they're including Tess. I don't know who the rest of the team is.
First, love the new podcast and the laxed nature of it all. Great research and topics so far, and I'm excited to see how the show evolves. That being said, besides giving y'all compliments, I'm writing to suggest a show topic. The topic I'm suggesting is having a bad trip with drugs / psychedelics, especially / particularly using drugs / psychedelics for usage of therapy or the like.
Oh, wow.
I personally have not experienced this due to my fear of a bad trip, and how many people I know told me, yeah, if you trip, I don't want to deal with you with how your brain works.
Oh, that's a good group of friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's an honest group of friends.
It's an honest group of friends, and it's part of the reason I have not used many psychedelic drugs. In fact, the one time that I took mushrooms successfully, because I've tried them 3 times, and the first 2 times they didn't really do anything.
Sure.
The third time, I started texting you and was like, I'm on mushrooms and I love everybody. And you were like, put your phone away.
Yeah, that was my advice, because the best advice someone can give you is put that shit away.
Yeah. So seems like a great topic, as many people have experiences, some scientific reasoning, but also have some great historical evidence and stories. Keep up the great work. Your fan, Seth. So thank you, Seth. I think we probably will do Bad Trip. I don't know. Maybe not this season, but probably season 5 or 6. Bad Trip is definitely one of those.
We both probably have things to talk about on that subject. and there's infinite stories.
Yeah. So good call. Thank you, Seth. New contact form entry from John. Hey guys, I'm not usually the writing in type, but I'm loving what you're doing so far. A couple things. Booby-trapped Halloween candy. Every year, there's at least one case that keeps this urban legend alive. Town near me, kid found sewing needles in 2 Snickers bars or something, yada yada.
That's actually the headline.
2, Satanic Panic, another great urban legend, but again in the town near me in the late 80s named Fall River. A guy
Is it Massachusetts, you think?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, right on.
My agent, years and years ago, I sold a show about the Satanic Panic, and one of the reasons that he was so passionate about it was because he was from near Fall River and remembered this story and thought it was crazy. So a guy and 2 young ladies got put in prison for luring a working girl to their apartment and killing her in the name of Satan, dumped her body in nearby Freetown State Forest, which is part of the Bridgewater Triangle, a whole other can of worms. Our friend Kyle Morrison has told us many stories about the Bridgewater Triangle.
We should have him on.
We should. 3, abandoned towns. I got you there too, boys. Town nicknamed Dogtown, abandoned during colonial days for being a place where witches and werewolves lurked.
Did we not talk about Dogtown?
I think we did.
I thought so too.
Did we announce these episodes maybe? And that's he's writing in.
It doesn't sound like us to have announced an episode, but I thought Dogtown was definitely in that episode.
It's also near Gloucester, Salem. I can offer more info if you need. Being can be a New England area correspondent. One more thing. We did not go trick-or-treating at Packers, but there was Packies.
Oh.
There was a time you could walk down the middle of the street and the kids get candy and the adults get beer.
That's pretty fun.
Let's restart that Halloween tradition.
That's gotta go. Yeah, bring that back, dude.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you, John. We can't remember if you're, this was from November 9th, so we'd put out a few episodes at that point.
Yeah,
it was post because I was working on Satanic Panic while I was home last Halloween.
You know what? We had recorded Abandoned Towns really early.
Yeah.
And then we were disappointed with it.
Yes.
And we released it much later. So maybe we mentioned that we we had done Abandoned Towns. We're thinking, I think we literally asked the audience, as I was so nervous about it, if we should do Abandoned Towns to gauge.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think it was in the ether. It was out in the world.
Yeah. But crazy that he guessed one of the things that was in there.
And if anyone asks, you're the reason we did it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So this next email is from Space Columbo.
Okay, fun name.
The Church of Satan / musicians. Hey, Ed and Chris, ignore this if it's the 100th email on the subject. Just wanted to chime in quickly on
We ignored it before we even knew what position it was.
Just wanted to chime in quickly on the Church of Satan. I don't know if it needs an entire episode of its own because it is not scary, but I find it important to share some often glossed over information. The church, if you ask me, has more in common with artists mentioned in the show like Kiss, Tyler, Nas X, etc. than an actual church. Anton LaVey, who was essentially, in modern parlance, a troll, was using satanic imagery and philosophically atheist perspectives as a mechanism for critique of a very conservative Western society in the middle of the 20th century.
Yeah.
By forming a church, Anton could defend the ideas he put into the world squarely under the first 2 stated aspects of the First Amendment and defend himself from morality laws and statutes like the ones used against Lenny Bruce and other early counterculture figures. Anton also borrowed a lot from Aleister Crowley, such as the pageantry, language, and ritual. Primarily, however, the most important quality adopted by Anton is the persona of painting yourself as the villain as a shield and form of control over how you are perceived. Calling someone an insult and having its intended effect, as many of us know, is very hard when that person's response is, no duh, and I'm proud of it. This was very influential, especially for many genres of music, hence previously mentioned examples, purposely using inflammatory imagery, pomp, and language as a statement or just to make money. Also, kind of like Vince McMahon.
Yeah, who's monstrous, and I wouldn't say is a hero in any way. Or
no, but he's a guy, he's always like, yeah, I'm a bad guy. What do you expect?
Yeah, but he actually was a bad guy.
No, I know.
So having Anton create the church, even if the intention was to troll Western religion, if you're still a bad guy, fuck you then. You can't be a bad guy and play a bad guy.
True.
Otherwise, you're just a bad guy.
Yes. But my point is he's using the idea of himself as the villain as a shield, whether the person behind the shield is actually a villain or not.
They're just telling you they are.
Well, yeah, because what Space Columbo is saying here is calling someone an insult and having its intended effect, as many of us know, is very hard when that person's response is no duh, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, none of this is sourced or researched to refresh my knowledge or anything. I just wrote, so feel free to second guess anything I've said if you make use of any of this in the future. Thanks for putting out a good show. Long days, pleasant nights. Arlen.
Really? I thought it was going to end with and one more thing, like Columbo always did.
I mean, we're big missed opportunity here.
Come on, Space Columbo.
All right, so let's see here. Our next email is... The show is awesome. From Kiss the Goat. Hello.
Okay. It's a name?
I've been listening to the pod since the jump, and I love it. I appreciate the dichotomy of research and irreverence in every episode.
Oh, you're going to get that in response to your email, too.
Yeah, the Satanic Panic stuff has been really good. I'm old enough to have lived through that madness. The PMRC hearings with Dee Snider and Frank Zappa. I got dragged to a heavy metal is evil seminar when I was a kid.
Damn.
I'll never forget the guy leading the thing played James fucking Taylor as an example of satanic music.
Wow, Jamie T. I love him. There's no way it is.
It was Steamroller Blues. The dude actually said there's no such thing as soft rock.
Oh my God.
Come on.
I thought it was going to be Fire and Rain or something because it's about suicide, but
no.
Nope.
Steamroller Blues. My wife and I do a pod called Kiss the Goat, all about devil movies. A lot of our content is derived from our childhoods and being taught the devil is everywhere.
Shout out that pod unless you guys are weird neo-Nazis and we don't know it.
Also, we drink a lot, curse prolifically, and have thick Southern accents. All that aside, I have a strong interest in devil stuff. Listening to your episodes about the SP, Satanic Panic, has brought back odd memories. I don't think they're manufactured, but I could be wrong. The church I grew up in actually had missionaries trying to proselytize Catholics. What? He put the what.
Oh, gotcha.
That is pretty crazy. Thanks for the show. It's the most enjoyable and accessible paranormal pod out there. I look forward to it every Thursday. I listen through Spotify. Can I leave a review there? I wonder. I'll figure it out.
It's been a year. He probably figured it out that you can't, weirdly.
All the best. Just call me X. Everyone does.
All right, X. And we'll check out your pod, I guess.
Yeah,
Sorry
Kiss the
it took us
Goat
a year.
pod.
Yeah, Kiss the Goat pod.
We'll have their info in the show notes. This next email is from Matt. And it's about Mike Warnke.
Oh,
remember Mike Warnke?
Of course I do. People were pissed that we didn't know who he was. Those are some of the emails we did open.
I think,
and then we
yeah.
stopped opening emails.
Hey, fellas, enjoying the show. Listening as I type to Satanic Panic Part 2. Just a heads up, Mike Warnke was a Christian comedian that claimed to have been a drug dealer and a Satanist high priest before converting to Christianity.
That's what people keep telling us.
I think he may have been found to have fabricated his past and been disgraced or discredited, but he was popular in the late 80s, I believe. I don't know if he's the same Mike Warnke as mentioned, but with that info, I'd find it hard to believe if he wasn't. Keep it up and take care, Matt. So, Matt, you are correct about Mike Warnke, and so is everyone else who wrote in to tell us. I feel like us not knowing who Mike Warnke was is, one of the largest wave of emails, or...
I would say it's the largest wave of criticism, but the largest wave outside of, like, waking up during surgery. People just had a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah, they sure did. Satanic Panic from Zelda. Hey y'all, loving the podcast so far. My dad is a mostly retired family law attorney. What kind of family law does he leap back into action for? Is it like he's sleeping one night and wakes up and is like, I hear a dad getting divorced. He needs to take custody of his children.
No, I just think it's like doctors and lawyers and craftspeople. It's like there's just someone's going to ask you, hey, can you help me out with this thing? Of course.
He was doing custody cases during the Satanic Panic and has stories about being in the legal world at that time. I've asked him what happened to all the occult crime / Satanist experts he encountered, and he said, they just walked away and pretended like none of it happened.
Oh, no, wow.
I have no idea if he'd be willing to share any stories, but I'm happy to ask him. Looking forward to the rest of season 1. Well, this is an email we should have responded to.
Yeah, that would have been helpful to have then. Also, I hope you're still here in season 4.
Yeah. All right, new contact form entry. Hey, Ed and Chris, this is from John. Hey, Ed and Chris, I'm already a big fan of the show. I'll admit that I'm listening to you guys as I'm going to sleep at night, so I might have drifted off and missed it, but I was surprised that I don't really think you guys covered the connection between Dungeons and Dragons and the Satanic Panic.
I don't think that we didn't cover it. I think it just felt like it was maybe too much, right?
No, I mean, I think we just probably didn't mention it, but it was really, yes, there were a lot of people who were convinced that Dungeons and Dragons was one of the ways that Satanists were getting to kids, and there was that whole TV movie about that Tom Hanks was in about a kid who like went missing after he played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, maybe it was too top of mind for us and just forgot to put it in. Like we were researching and showing all this research, minus Warnke, and just we're like, well, everyone must know that other thing.
Well, John tells us there were a slug of cases reported that teenagers were summoning the devil with their D&D campaigns, and it was causing them to either commit suicide or murder or both. There was even a rather famous case where a young college-age gentleman went missing for several days, was later found deceased, and Dungeons & Dragons was blamed. That's the one that they based the Tom Hanks movie on.
Turner and Hooch. Yep.
Yeah. The fact that the game survived the parental outcry is really sort of a miracle, or luck of the devil. Regardless, you guys are the best. No offense to your overlords. And I can't wait to hear more episodes of Scared All the Time. Regards, John. John's right. It is actually kind of crazy that Dungeons and Dragons survived.
Yeah.
Because it was a small company. It would have been really easy
to bury them.
Or shut them down, or
not with the devil's protection, like
not
he was
with
starting
the
to
devil's
say
protection,
there.
Yeah.
So I guess we missed an opportunity in that. I guess maybe because neither of us are big Dungeons and Dragons guys. But yeah, so that was good to get a little rundown on that. We'll be sure to use that at some point.
This next email is from Space Columbo again.
Oh, what's up, Space Columbo? This is his one more thing.
This is his one more thing. Mike Warnke was a stand-up comedian who claimed to have been a Satanist in San Francisco. He jumped on the trend started by Michelle Remembers and made mega church money by touring as a Christian comedian and by teaching police officers and the FBI about Satanism.
So his one more thing was everyone else's one more thing. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
New contact form entry.
People do not like typing in our email.
From Ray. Your second episode on the Satanic Panic and the McMartin preschool event. There is actual government evidence supporting the existence of tunnels underneath McMartin preschool. While I firmly agree that there was a bunch of dream logic in the testimony of the kids and parents involved, there is some credibility to the tunnel claim. On October 31st, 2019, the CIA Records Vault released a file dump on the cult.
Halloween?
On Halloween 2019, the CIA Records Vault released a file dump on the cult known as the Finders, which you guys should absolutely do an episode about since they were, one, real, and two, very, very messed up.
Hey, we'll check it out.
I've heard of the Finders. I've read about the Finders. I need to do more research on the Finders. There's some weird stuff going on there for sure, but I think some of that also did get blown out of proportion.
Okay.
But I can't say for sure. I really haven't read that much about them.
Maybe it can be part of a bigger episode about Finder type people.
In that record, there are 2 pages seemingly inserted by accident which show a diagram of McMartin Preschool and the tunnels underneath it and the measurements of and findings within the tunnels, which include hundreds of animal bones and a plate with pentagrams drawn on it respectively. You can find the CIA file at, and he puts a link here, which I'm opening.
Oh yeah, click on that in my house. Great.
The pages in question are page 47 to 48. As a note, almost a decade after the case, McMartin was demolished and a 3-story building with a parking garage under it was built on the site. I'd imagine that the demolition crews would have seen something of the tunnels if that's the case. This article speaks briefly about the demolition and the then undisclosed findings of tunnels by the CIA. The source of the file is unknown as it's missing pages, but it's been claimed somewhere that the phone number, which he includes here on
8675309
on the bottom of page 48, is for Dr. Garv Stickle, an archaeologist working for Ted Gunderson, who led the FBI investigation. Enjoying the show and keep up the good work. So, I mean, my only question about this, and again, like I've never looked at these pages before, I'm opening them right now.
That's why I hear sirens.
Yeah. It does seem weird that there'd be anything from the CIA. Like, when did the CIA investigate the McMartin preschool trial? I guess that's what's weird about this.
First off, it's domestic, which they usually don't do.
Well, they're not supposed to.
But then again, we've all read Chaos here.
Yeah. No, this is really interesting, and I do think it's certainly something that we can dive into if we do another episode. I mean, I remember when I was researching the McMartin preschool thing that there was mention of the fact, like there were people who claimed that there were evidence of tunnels.
We talk about it in the episode.
Found, but that it wasn't super clear that it was really tunnels that they were finding and not just dirt was
stuff. No, it wasn't clear. Yeah. Which is why I think this person sent an email saying, hey, here's some further evidence or further
that there
interesting.
Was, yes, because there is, I mean, according to this, which is on the FBI's website.
FBI.ru. I think that's a Russian.
Vault.fbi.gov. There are 2 papers in here about tunnels, a preliminary report, the tunnels found in McMartin Preschool, of a 45-foot tunnel, 9-foot wide subterranean entrance found on a west wall of the dog room, avocado tree roots cut. I mean, this is a very, very long page. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Let's hope not, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's clearly something else here that is not just like hey, here's a PDF I found on some random website.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad it's actually on a real website.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Ray. Thank you for calling that to our attention. I think that's really interesting.
We'll dig into it, no pun intended.
Hey. All right. This next email comes to us from Lizard McGee.
Sure.
It's called I Am Listening. And it's not about frogging in my house. Thank you both for the cool new podcast to help with my long drives. Very interesting stuff. You should know that after your Satanic Panic episodes, I followed up with the series Kelly and the Satanic Panic, which you recommended. Good stuff there. I'm a big fan of Astonishing Legends, so that's where I'm coming from. It's snowing in Ohio, but not in my heart, so I've gone back to your first episode to find out what the heck the Hat Man is. Now I'm scared.
We spent so much time to respond. It might be snowing in Ohio again.
Yeah, Lizard. Well, it says rock on, Lizard. So thank you, Lizard, for listening. I'm glad that you've discovered who the heck the Hat Man is. Make sure you keep an ear out for our Hat Man follow-up where we'll have read some listener feedback and listener stories about the Hat Man, and you'll get some more Hat Man for your nightmares. New contact form entry from Yem and Marcus B. Just want to drop in and say, really enjoy your podcast so far. My husband is a big fan of Astonishing Legends, and when he heard about the Scared All the Time, he had to check it out. I'm glad he did because you guys are awesome.
Nice.
You remind me of the last podcast on the left guys, but like not obnoxious.
That's a great compliment.
I hope y'all are around for a while.
Well, if you're hearing this, we're around a year after your email.
Yes. Next email, Christmas Horror from Joel Blue.
Oh, old Joel Blue.
Old Joel Blue.
I don't know if we ever responded to him. I thought we did. But anyway.
Well, he says Edge, Crisp, Patch, and the other one.
Edge?
Edge, Crisp. Who's Patch? You're Edge. I'm Crisp.
If it was a Christmas episode, we would have had Pat and Josh on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Great episode. Hopefully we'll see a sequel to Violent Night where Santa can fight his own Sinister Six of holiday monsters. The intro on this pod, and then he puts a link, discusses the Puritans banning Christmas. Kind of a cool coincidence that it bridges your Satanic Panic episode and Christmas Horror. And happy
true.
holidays, Joel.
Thanks, Joel. Wish we had used that at the time.
Yeah, happy holidays to you, Joel, again.
Yeah, coming up on Happy Holidays again.
New contact form entry from John. Hey, Ed and Chris, I listened to your episode about Christmas horrors last night and your interview with Pat and Josh. Today, my wife and I watched Violent Night and had a great time.
Oh, thank God. It could have been got divorced.
I know.
We saw it and we realized, she liked it, I hated it, and this relationship's not going to work.
Well, he says, I was honestly expecting it to be a hokey goof watch, like Sharknado kind of deal, but it was a fantastic movie. It really is, and that's mostly thanks to Pat and Josh, and also the director, but I'll say mostly Pat and Josh.
Sure.
I also looked more into the Yule Lads. Fascinating bit of lore there. Not a fan of the idea of window peeper or spoon licker, but what can you do? Keep up the great work. Looking forward to hearing you guys on the AL holiday episode and season 2 of Scared All the Time.
Oh man, I guess we have that coming up this year again too.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Thanks for listening, and hopefully you're still here.
Another clown murderer from Tim. I won't say his last name, but he says, hi, Ed and Chris. Last weekend, I discovered your excellent podcast. The episode about clowns made me think of a weird and gruesome case from Belgium where in 2018, a clown kidnapped his children, murdered his ex-girlfriend, and then climbed on a roof for a standoff with police.
Oh my God.
During which he fired at civilians and into the air. Oh, and there's also a professional yodeler involved.
Oh my God.
And then he sent a link. I'm not sure you ever do updates on your previous topics, but I figured this case might make everyone just a little more afraid of clowns who are totally capable of killing you.
Wow, I guess, yeah, and afraid of dating a clown because it didn't say the mother of the children got killed. It just said the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, wow. This is incredible. I think, what's it? And then it ends with greets from Brussels. Tim, we might talk about this on a live show.
Yeah, this sounds like a live show thing to talk about. This is an excellent article. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. It's always great to get international clown homicide on our radar.
Yeah, it's something that we really, as a society, need to keep a finer handle on.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say keep doing. And I'm like, no.
No. We just need to pay attention.
We recorded this before the last live show, so we actually did end up using it there. It was a ton of fun. The live show, not the actual event. That was horrific.
All right, let's see what's next on the list of things that we are a year late to respond to. Love the show, but from Michael.
Oh, that's good.
Hi there, love the show. Found you guys through Astonishing Legends. As I said, really like you guys in the show, but you gotta slow down with the dynamic ads. They are just too often and too many. Takes me straight out of the podcast. It doesn't help that I'm Norwegian, downloading in Norway, getting corny ass Norwegian shitty ads in my lovely American-based podcast. I get that you need to make money, but you can't be running dynamic dynamic ads as often. Even TV channels has fewer ad breaks in an episode from you.
Okay, well, I think we did address that. I mean, we don't have any say to what happens before or after the show.
Correct.
And I try and make it like 1 ad break if it's under a certain amount of time and 2 ad breaks if it's over a certain amount of time. So it really it shouldn't be any more. And it's always like at least a half hour between them. I try and make that the case anyway. I mean, to me, it didn't seem overwhelming, but maybe at that time we had done a couple like over 2-hour episodes or something, and maybe those would have had 3, but
maybe.
I don't think it's over. I don't think it's too much for
hopefully
for
we're
us.
going to start getting live reads.
That would be great.
And then we'll have less programmatic ads. So you'll hear more corny ass ads from my own mouth.
Yeah, exactly. But
and less from Norwegian.
And to your point, we're not really making any money, so it's not like we're doing it to become rich.
But yes, Michael, we will continue to try to keep an eye on how many ads go in the show, but this has become basically a full-time job.
Yeah.
And we are not making full-time money.
Yeah, we do need to have some ads, but I don't think we have more ad breaks than anyone else.
No.
If anything, we have less ad breaks. How many ads are in there, I'm not sure.
I don't know how many ad breaks Norwegian TV has either for all their corny ass ads.
Yeah,
maybe Norwegian TV only has like 1 ad break.
I mean, it's probably like public funded or something, so the only place you can get ads is on podcasts. I don't know.
You know, the other thing you could do, I'll just mention this, use a VPN and set it to America and then get less corny American ads.
Get Home Depot ads.
Get Home Depot ads, yeah.
Or, you can sign up for premium and not hear whatever ads are going to land right here, right now.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
And if you're listening to this on premium, then you just didn't hear any ads. How fun is that?
Another email from Space Columbo.
Space Columbo's back. That's 2 more things. It's
One
completely
more
broken.
thing in reference to rats eating people alive.
Did he write one more thing?
No.
Okay, Jesus. Keeps letting us down.
In reference to rats eating people alive, quote, rats, comma, Richard Kuklinski, that's all, gentlemen, well done. What Space Columbo is referring to here is the Iceman, Richard Kuklinski.
He cameth?
He cameth. He killeth.
Oh, no.
He killedeth a lot of people. He was a serial killer / mafia hitman with a family who was apparently like a great dad, loved his kids, loved his wife, but he committed some of the most heinous hits, and sometimes apparently for fun. And one of his victims, he let rats eat him alive.
Oh, good.
So
this guy sounds like a real piece of garbage.
There's interviews with him. They did a whole HBO series in like the early 90s. Where
Is
they
he still with us?
I don't think so. I think
we
he
can't
died.
get him on the pod.
I think he died in prison. He was a real bad guy. He was a really bad guy.
Wow.
But he managed to keep his 2 lives like completely separate.
I mean, that's BTK as well. Like, no one in the family knew. Like, they really are. They can compartmentalize, I guess.
Yeah. So this next story is great. Well, I haven't read it, but it sounds like it's going to be great because the title of the email is I Got Frogged.
Oh, no.
From Catherine. Hello. I found great relief when I listened to your episode Neighbors from Hell and learned there was a name for what happened to me. I was 25, living alone in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment in Minneapolis in 2017. I started to notice my shower curtain would be open when I got home from work each night.
Oh my God. So if you're a fucking shower curtain closer,
yeah,
each night would never have come out of my mouth. The first night I move.
Yeah. She says, I thought maybe I just forgot to close it, even though I'm super weird about leaving it closed so the curtain will dry. So yeah, she's a big closer,
she's
noticing that it's open.
Consummate closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd notice that's open. Shit.
Then I started to notice when I got home, the freezer door wasn't closed all the way. My food went missing. Lights were left on. There was an indentation on my pillow in bed, like someone had slept there.
Oh my God, she's getting, this is reading like Goldilocks.
My door would be unlocked when I got home when I know I locked it. I never leave home without locking the door.
This is a real odd couple because she seems very fastidious.
and this guy seems like, and I'm assuming it's a guy.
Absent-minded lunatic.
Yeah. Nobody believed me. Anyone I told about the strange happenings would assume I'm paranoid because I live alone. One night, I got home from work and all of my furniture had been moved. I had a very heavy TV that was on the floor because I could not lift it.
This is a brazen
My TV was
Frogger.
across the room, looking like someone tried to hook up the cable, which I did not pay for, so it did not work. My chair was moved by the window facing the TV, and there was remnants of a snack on the table. I called my apartment manager the next morning to ask if...
The next morning? I would not sleep in that fucking apartment that night.
I called my apartment... Well, it doesn't say she did, but maybe.
Yeah, sure.
I called my apartment manager the next morning to ask if maintenance had been in my apartment, and he said no. No one else would have access to my apartment. I went straight to his office and asked to have my lock changed. He said it would be a week before they would have time to change the lock.
That's ridiculous. It's Minneapolis, sir.
I sat down and refused to leave the office until my lock was changed. Good for you.
Smart move.
I waited politely for 3 hours until they closed for the day and still refused to leave. They changed my lock that day and all the weird stuff stopped. I feel validated. Thank you for talking about frogging. Thank you, Kate.
So someone had the key.
Well,
Because the lock stopped it.
this doesn't sound technically like frogging. This sounds like someone
was coming and going?
Yeah, frogging is when they're living in your apartment, in your walls.
That's frogging adjacent.
This is breaking and entering.
Yes, but that's still frogging adjacent enough to me where I'm like, I'm very proud of her for just putting her foot down and being like, I'm not fucking walking out of here until you do. But also, I don't know. I'm also the kind of person who would just like eat the $40 and just change it myself if no one was going to help me quicker enough. But I do like that they were like, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. But it's, someone had the fucking key, bro. I think
Somebody
about that.
had a key but who?
Previous tenant, maybe? A lot of places don't change the locks when people move. I changed ours as I'm like, I also changed our toilet seat.
Why would the previous tenant come take showers and try to hook up your cable and stuff? Unless they became homeless maybe.
Became homeless and greedy. They wanted a cable on top of it.
Yeah.
It's their greed put them on the streets.
Damn.
Well,
what a
thanks
story.
for letting us know.
Great story, Kate. Homunculus thoughts from
Finally.
David. Hey guys, love the show.
From who?
From David.
David.
Hey guys, I love the show. I've listened since episode 1 and look forward to each new episode. I don't normally contact show producers, but all through your Homunculus episode...
But I was told that you guys get back to people real quick.
David, we're sorry. But all through your Homunculus episode, it kept recurring to me that maybe a lot of these people went insane in the process of making these things real, and that is kind of where the basis of the idea that it works came from. Okay, if you're killing all these animals and drawing human blood and mixing semen into it and then wait for however long, that's a long time to be stewing in your own thoughts about it.
Especially there's no like internet then.
Yeah, chances are you're not real popular in society if people know what you're up to and that you're somewhat obsessive trying to make the little people that to maybe the practitioners they became real. Also, a lot of woo-woo stuff is intent, and I can just imagine someone wrapping a mandrake root in a death shroud and carrying it around for a long time could easily drive them crazy, especially, like I said, if they were already somewhat socially outcast.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Trying to make friends.
That was just my thoughts about it. Thank you for producing the show. I look forward to keep listening.
Those are good thoughts.
Those are great thoughts.
Better than the ones we had at the end of the episode.
Yeah. I don't think people who were intently engaging in creating homunculi were super popular.
Nope.
They definitely gained a reputation probably as they gathered materials.
Sure.
Jugs of cum and dead animals in their house. So
maybe your neighbors are far away though. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. New contact form entry from Brandon. Oh, this was another popular one. Guys, Jim Thorpe is one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah, even my dad, remember?
An Oklahoma icon and a sad story. I know, more than just me has sent you this.
Yeah.
But come on, it's actually a great story. Check him out.
Didn't we read this on the air, this exact one? Because that then prompted me to say that even my dad sent it to me.
I think we got a bunch of these. I don't know if we read this one, because this one I think was unread, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, we now know about Jim Thorpe and the famous athlete Mike Warnke.
Yeah. Famous Christian comedian Mike Warnke.
Yeah.
Some people call him the Jim Thorpe of Christian comedians.
That's what they say.
And we never got the joke.
Nope, we didn't.
but now
that we know them both, it doesn't even make sense.
Amusement parks episode from Matt. Hey guys, first, I absolutely love the show. It's the perfect amount of comedy and creepy to keep me coming back for more. In the amusement park episode, as y'all talked about Verrückt, the question was asked, what's the deal with their German? I can maybe shed a bit of light there. The original Schlitterbahn is located in a town called New Braunfels, just northeast of San Antonio. The name Schlitterbahn itself roughly translates to slippery road. Believe it or not, Central Texas has quite a few communities with deep German roots, and New Braunfels is one of those towns. New Braunfels was actually named after a German town, Salms-Braunfels, in the mid-1800s by a gentleman who was helping to settle folks in Texas, specifically from Germany. Side fun fact, Texas barbecue is heavily influenced by German cooking, and many of the most famous Texas barbecue joints were founded by German families. Keep the great stories coming. Best regards, Matt.
Oh, that's interesting. Nice new things to learn.
Yeah. I guess, does Texas barbecue have then like
There's mustards.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know my barbecues that well. Like, I don't know which ones are more vinegar. I think it's like, isn't it like Kansas?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll eat all of it, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't remember. But that's interesting. I never knew that.
I didn't know.
Changelings from Elizabeth. Hey guys, hope y'all are well. I wanted to say great job on Alien Abductions Part 1. This is a great breakdown of old Fae beliefs, but I did want to mention a quick theory that y'all may or may not already be aware of. It's been posited that changelings may have been an old way of explaining autism spectrum disorder. In the podcast, you mentioned that boys were seen as more likely to be targeted by the Fae, and while obviously each case is different, people who are assigned male at birth generally are more likely to exhibit more obvious signs of ASD compared to assigned female folks. It's also important to note that ASD symptoms may not be obvious until a little while into the child's life, which can look a whole lot like a normal baby is suddenly not acting like themselves, or maybe isn't even the same baby anymore. Semi-related, there are potentially, I'm trying to find decent sources, accounts of medieval descriptions of people being described as, quote, walking as though upon cloven hooves that sound a lot like toe walking. I'm always curious reading about any old story to know if it's something that we'd be able to have words for today, though there's definitely stranger things in heaven and earth even today. Here's looking at you, floating disco wizard. Best. Oscar Vest, they, he.
Oh, well, thanks for writing in. It's interesting that they look at historical stuff that way of like, hey, what would it be through our lens of today? Like the idea of strictly language too, and not just like, well, that wouldn't fly today, but the idea of they didn't have the words for it.
I think that's a really interesting thing, whether it's autism or I guess any kind of mental disorder that becomes more obvious as you get older. That's a really interesting point that, like one day you wake up and your kid's doing something weird.
Sure.
And now we're like, maybe I should find out if they're suffering from something. And back then it was like,
they've been
kid got
possessed.
Replaced.
Yeah, they've been replaced. I hope that they went on to listen to parts 2 and 3 of Alien Abduction, or if they're just strictly fairy-centric.
Yeah, I forgot, too, that the Fae was part of Alien Abductions, but yeah.
Well,
we don't do a lot of multi-parts anymore because
nobody ever gets to the third part.
No one ever listens to the third,
which is
second,
annoying,
because
I like the third part sometimes and the second part's more, and then it's like, I'll just see people don't give as much a shit.
Well, because the first part's usually like the wind up, like I'm just getting into the material, and then we hit part 2, but people aren't listening by that point.
And I think we do a bad job of leaving maybe cliffhangers and stuff where it's like, okay, and next, so that's this thing, and then next week we're going to talk about probing, and then next week we're going to talk about...
Well, anyway, new contact form entry from Farron. Hey guys, love the show. Been a long-time listener of Astonishing Legends and hoping to be a long-time listener to you guys. Well, that's up to you, Farron.
We'll see if you're a year in. Yeah.
In regards to the discussion of sudden awareness on the most recent alien abduction episode, I've got a similar, albeit much rarer medical condition that scares the hell out of me. Locked-in syndrome. Oh, we've talked about doing an episode on this.
I mean, they have a rare syndrome indeed, which is getting to the third part of alien abduction.
Yeah, I won't get too into it in case you want to cover it in a future episode, possibly alongside sudden awareness. But basically, it's exactly what Ed described as what he was afraid of. A person will be fully conscious and aware of everything happening around them, but unable to move or speak. Typically, this can occur due to a stroke. It can also be caused by damage to the brain stem from something like a car accident. We now live in a technologically advanced enough time that people with LIS can lead meaningful, full lives, but it's very scary to think about what could happen before we knew about what caused it. Thanks again, and looking forward to more aliens next week. So maybe this was part 2.
This must have been part 2. But they're looking forward to, which means they probably listened.
Yeah. So thank you, Farron. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Farron. And we did get into sudden awareness.
Yeah. New contact form entry from Linda. Was wondering what you guys think about a theory I have pertaining to your spontaneous human combustion.
Okay, we're ready.
Diethyl ether was a popular medicinal tonic they took that is flammable, and if the victims were smokers, it's what could cause it to spark. Question mark.
There's a lot of questions over here immediately from me, but hey, drink this gasoline.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very likely that a lot of spontaneous human combustion is probably in the episode, we kind of gravitated towards that theory that people who drank too much or had alcohol, possibly diethyl ether in their system, may have succumbed to this.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good theory, Linda. I have no proof, and I won't be studying it to find any proof because...
No, not today.
Not today. We're reading emails today. But I do think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out.
Thanks for writing in. No subject from Andrew. Hey, gentlemen, listening to your airline podcast. Just a heads up, the JAL flight that you're talking about had a tail strike around 4 years before the incident where the tail broke away. Obviously, it wasn't fixed correctly, and it wasn't just the tail, it was the back end of the aircraft.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
This is the one with the Dutch rolls and going up and down.
Yeah, so that was a pretty bad situation. Hopefully, as we move into the future of airline travel...
It's only getting worse. You see the headlines.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'd love it if we could eliminate the phrase, obviously it wasn't fixed correctly from airline travel. It would be nice. Follow-up from Alien Abduction episodes from Felicia... Hey there, big fangirl here, of course, starting with Astonishing Legends. I've been a podcast listener for many years now and have never actually reached out to a podcast before, but I've been thinking about a few things you guys said during the Alien Abduction series, which I really love, by the way. It had me laughing a lot of the time and had me thinking about a few scenarios I hadn't considered before.
I hope this didn't turn her off from reaching out to people because they were like, yeah, assholes never got back.
No. One of you referred to Earth as the brothel of the universe.
That sounds like me.
That was Ed. I never considered that, but it makes sense, and I'm wondering if you have more information about that.
You try, I guess, go to Nevada where it's legal. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we have more information. I could maybe get Ed to write a fanfic about it or something, but
with what time?
I don't know who else to say this to, so I'll just put it out here to you guys.
Oh no, it's to the world now, girl.
And by the way, I would encourage you guys, if you ever have thoughts that you don't know who else to say them to, go ahead and hit up our email, scaredallthetimepodcast@gmail.com.
We won't make you do any Hail Marys.
No. It's been really fantastically wild to think about an alien race or species somewhere in the universe that is seeded by Barney Hill and possibly Betty Hill. I don't really think they were giving her a pregnancy test. I think they were harvesting eggs. I would be fascinated to see what that looks like. Thanks for putting another podcast out there so that I can listen to you. It's been really fun so far.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, and Felicia is a doula, according to her email signature here. So I guess that is particularly something that
would be on their mind.
On her mind. And that is really interesting that there'd be a universe seeded by one Earthling.
Yeah, that also seems like a Far Side comic a little bit. But hey, thanks for the email.
New contact form entry from Lisa. Google Podcasts switched to YouTube Music. Will your podcast be there anytime in the future?
No.
Listening on Spotify right now, but the commercials are annoying. Really enjoying the banter between the two of you. Recently subscribed after hearing you on Let's Get Haunted.
Oh, fun. Thank you. We love Let's Get Haunted.
Yeah.
Thanks
also,
for coming over.
I'd be remiss to say also to Matthew and to Lisa, sign up for our premium. You won't have any ads.
There's no fucking ads there, dudes.
So
yeah, it's true. And you get to hang out with us once a month and shoot the shit. And it's definitely, we respond faster than a year.
Yeah. Our podcast probably won't be on YouTube Music anytime soon. Not that we have anything against YouTube Music. We just... until we have somebody like really on top of distributing to each place individually for us,
it gets a little difficult. And them and Pandora are both more difficult than we'd like them to be.
So yeah, keep listening on Spotify. You know, I would also say this won't help you with the ads, but like I use an app called Pocket Cast to listen to podcasts. I love Pocket Cast. They're really easy to keep track of which episodes you've listened to, which ones you haven't. They have all the different like audio speed settings. They have an automatically remove
the hosts.
Yeah, no, and automatically remove like dead air.
Fun
option.
Our show doesn't really have dead air.
No, thanks to Ed. But I'm just saying, Pocket Cast is a very full-featured app. It's free, and our podcast is on there. So I don't know. It might help or it might not, but give it a listen on there.
And just so people know, we're not sponsored or affiliated with Pocket Cast in any way.
Yeah, I just like them. All right, next one up. Accidental Awareness Personal Experience from Ariel. Hey, first off, just want to say I love the podcast. You two have such great chemistry. It's hard for me to get into new podcasts, but yours was so easy to start. I'm catching up on episodes, and I'm finally on the second part of the abduction episodes, and you guys brought up accidental awareness, which happened to me about 10 years ago when I got my wisdom teeth out, and figured I'd share my story to help fuel your nightmares. Thanks, Ariel.
Thanks. Yeah, a little late, but I mean, it probably wasn't. I'm sure it was like
it's
the
not her
day.
fault.
No, what I'm saying is, we had read some emails in that episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the time we'd finished the episode, people were still sending them in. Like I said, accidental awareness, and
We got a lot.
We got a lot of shit for that episode, yeah.
So freshman year of college, I had my wisdom teeth removal scheduled over winter break when I could just sit on the couch and have my mom be around to make sure I was doing okay with recovery. It was supposed to be simple, get them out before they start coming in and mess up my teeth, nothing at all weird about it. I will preface this by saying I was struggling with some really bad anxiety at the time and had experienced a few panic attacks by this point, and also have asthma.
Okay.
Asthma attacks and panic attacks kind of overlapped with the restricted breathing, so after experiencing both, one could trigger the other.
It's an inconvenient Venn diagram.
She says this is important, though. So
oh, shit. Okay, I'll be quiet.
inconvenient but important. I also have a family personal history of not reacting well to Novocaine or localized anesthesia, where it either doesn't work at all or wears off quickly. But as wisdom teeth removal is done under general anesthesia, there wasn't too much concern. But again, anxiety, so I was up most of the night before, being a bit anxious for my first surgery. Morning of, I talked with the doc and there weren't any concerns. He did explain the anesthesia, which doesn't actually make you unaware or unconscious. It just stops your brain from writing what's happening to memory. So basically, you're awake the entire time but don't remember it. I remember when they started the anesthesia, he said he'd ask some questions as I went under. Started by asking me about school, and I think I got 3 words out before I went under. I will say, being up all night, I think it relaxed me enough, I just fell asleep.
Okay.
Next thing I remember is just not being able to breathe and absolutely panicking. It felt somewhat like other panic asthma attacks, but worse. When they do surgery in your mouth, they shove gauze all over the place, way more than what you get sent home with. They tried to talk me through it for a few seconds, but realized how bad I was panicking and had to pull most of the gauze, tools, whatever else they had in there out so I would calm down. Once it was out and I could breathe, I calmed down right away. I think they may have re-upped the drugs and I was back out and didn't remember any of the rest of it. I do remember mentioning it to the nurse when I was in recovery, and she just looked kind of concerned and said, "You remember that?"
Oh, nice.
Yeah, things doctors don't like to hear is, hey, I remember what you were doing to me when I was unconscious.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't respond that way. They're just like, no, you're an idiot. That didn't happen.
Yeah. So I guess for them, at least, it wasn't common for anyone to remember everything. Honestly, the feeling of waking up like that and not being able to breathe is one of the scariest things I've felt, but I think it was more the inability to breathe versus waking up during surgery. Mm-hmm. The accidental awareness itself isn't even something I think of that frequently anymore, but it's definitely one of the scarier things I've experienced. Side note, I got to episode 3 where you talk about issues with numbing in the cold open while writing this. What a freaky coincidence. There's been a lot of those while we've been doing this show.
This show is Synchronicity City, man.
Yeah. Anyway, though, just wanted to share my experience with accidental awareness during surgery. TLDR, it wasn't fun, and I absolutely do not recommend it.
Oh, I didn't know there was a TLDR. We could have saved a lot of time. Thank you for writing in. Write in again and let us know if you're a redhead.
Oh, yeah, because
there's apparently a higher propensity to wake up during surgery.
Now, this next one, I don't know if it really was supposed to even go to us, but
it's addressed to a totally different podcast. Because it's a negative
and
review.
You can delete this one if you want, but the email subject is, I'm upcoming new guy actor in model fashion.
Oh.
From Tarak.
I don't think we should read this.
Hi, hello podcast team, how are you? Hi, this is Tarak. I'm from India and I would like acting, interested in Hollywood movies and modeling with stars around it. Would you please contact me? Further details, would you help me please? My dream Hollywood comedian. Please lured me in Hollywood movies and modeling industry. Yours helped to achieve my dreams. 5 prayer hands.
Okay.
Help me. I'm a stranger, but I'm asking and believing you. Help me. 6 thumbs up. Dreams achieve. I'm looking for help. Sometimes strangers are best. Select me, please. I strongly believe you. Ask any questions. Your help will bring talent person's heart. Your team was so great. Would you help me, please? 5 prayer hands. I want your help. 2 hearts. 4 prayer hands. You are in the best profession in the world. I don't know about that.
No, it's not true.
This is not the best profession in the world.
I don't know.
Would you please arrange sponsorship, visa, and passport?
Can you arrange our sponsorship?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yours sincerely, Tarak. So I don't know if Tarak actually listens to the show or not, but
I don't know. I don't think Tarak's real.
It's just funny that someone's emailing our podcast to have help breaking into Hollywood.
No, yeah.
Dude, we need help breaking into Hollywood.
Yeah. Look, we should write him back and be like, things aren't working out for us. Yeah. We ask you, please.
Yeah.
We believe you.
Is there an opening at like the call center?
Yeah, whatever the fuck you're at, dude.
New contact form entry from Jenny. When I first saw the title of the season 3 premiere, I realized I had a couple anecdotes that I could share. It was even more interesting to hear other listener stories and realize I was not the only one to have experienced it. I have had to experience anesthesia 3 times in my life. 2 of those I woke up when I should not have. The first time was when I was getting my wisdom teeth out as a high schooler. I woke up to someone manhandling my head.
Oh no.
I heard someone say, "She's awake," then I was asleep again almost immediately. They must have had trouble getting my teeth out as I had fingerprint bruises on my jaw afterwards.
Bruises that are just the prints.
Yeah.
That's even crazier.
Maybe it took longer than expected? Question mark. The second time it happened was during the colonoscopy I had just a couple years ago, so in my 40s.
Oh, thank God they added a couple years ago. I thought it was going to be like, you booked them the same day?
I know.
That's crazy.
I just wanted to go under once.
Yeah.
That's how they should book surgeries, by if they have to put you under and then they just put you under one place and have a bunch of people come do all the shit.
I don't
like
think
a tune-up.
I don't like that revolving door situation, but I could see how it would make money.
I was laying on my left side and woke up. Opened my eyes and was watching the stats on the machines and looking around. I could feel stuff moving around in my guts. Ew, she puts in parentheses, but I just really didn't care. I didn't realize it was unusual until I asked other people about their experiences. I do have reddish hair and the pale and freckled skin of a redhead. I wonder if people under anesthesia are often waking up and they just don't remember. I also have seen ether in use in a veterinary setting. Growing up in the 80s, my first step grandpa,
So there's a couple of step grandpas in the line, yeah.
Was a vet. I was allowed to watch surgeries as long as I sat on the stool in the corner and didn't cause problems.
Like the other kids that come and watch, you're always causing problems, throwing tools at the horses and stuff.
My grandma always operated the ether, which was a thick leather cone with a large cotton ball on the tip. The cotton ball had ether on it, and she would hold it over the mouth of the animal getting surgery. Then she would monitor the breathing and pull it back if the breathing slowed too much. At least that's what my 8-year-old self observed. Thanks for another entertaining and educational episode. I hope you have a fantastic day, Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny, for hoping that we have fantastic days and for writing in.
Thanks, Jenny. Whew, I'm getting tired. Do you want to stop here?
Oh, yeah, 100%. There's just so many fucking emails.
I know. Are you sure this is only 67? It feels like a lot.
You're the one who said 67. I didn't fact check that. It's probably more. Whatever the number is, it's like a fucking part 2 number. You know what I'm saying? We're doing another one of these.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, part 2. All right, part 2 it is.
All right, cool. I'll let them know. Hey, what did I say about lingering? I expected to open this window and see nobody out there, so you're clearly terrible with directions. I hate that you've lingered, but since we're here, I'll let you know that we're done for the day, so just come back. You know what? Better yet, just tune in. Don't come back. Just tune in for part 2.
Bye. See you guys.
All right, that's it for us today. We will see you in part 2. Scared All the Time is co-produced by Chris Kalari and Ed Ficola.
Written by Chris Kalari.
Edited by Ed Ficola.
Additional support and keeper of sanity is Tess Feifel.
Our theme song is the track Scared by Perpetual Stew.
And Mr. Disclaimer is...
And just a reminder, you can now support the podcast on Patreon and get all kinds of cool shit in return. Depending on the tier you choose, we'll be offering everything from ad-free episodes, producer credits, exclusive access, and exclusive merch.
So go sign up for our Patreon at scaredallthetimepodcast.com.
Don't worry, all scaredy cats welcome.
No part of this show can be reproduced anywhere without permission. Copyright Astonishing Legends Productions.
Good night.
We are in this together.
Together.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.